Aaron Hinde, my man, welcome to the show, man. I'm happy to have you here.
Stu, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. So I would love if we could kick this thing off. If you could kind of give the audience a little bit of an idea into like your background, the way you grew up, like what was life like for little Aaron as you were doing whatever you were doing as a kid?
L- Little Aaron was the oldest of seven, so had
Dang,
that going, which seems
the
bizarre now that I
squad.
have two kids. That's a lot of kids. So organized chaos. My parents say after three, it's just kind of all systems. So apparently it's not
Huh.
that difficult, but it seemed normal to me. I didn't know anything different, right?
Yeah, seven's a
Um,
lot.
yeah, a lot, especially when we're all in the same van. We had this big red and white van. It looked like a school bus, so everybody knew when we were coming.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
that's
I was a
epic.
pretty introverted kid actually. I was uh, uh, small for my age and
Hmm.
size. I still have my license when I turned 16 years old. Got my license on my 16th birthday. I was 5'3", 101 pounds at
Dang.
16.
Dang.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
know like before we started recording, you're saying you kind of grew up as like the shy kid, similar to myself. I'm curious for you, like how did you was there a point when you felt like you like sort of transitioned out of that?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, it helped in college when I started growing, but definitely between my freshman and sophomore year, I think just growing physically, giving me more confidence. I was a late bloomer, but
Yeah.
also, the bottom line is, and I've applied this principle to many aspects in my life, looking at what the result was, I wasn't happy with it. I mean, specifically when you're young and in college, you're trying to pick up girls and stuff. And,
Yeah.
and I was just so shy. They weren't really that interested. And I realized if I wanted a different result, I better start doing things differently. And so just really examining, the results I was getting as a
Yeah.
shy, introverted kid, I'm like, okay, you got to get out of your shell here, and just forcing myself to do things differently and really start engaging people and,
Yeah.
signing up for clubs and then leading clubs and really developing that confidence.
Love it. So shout out to the ladies. The
That's
ladies got
right.
the
They
shy
are
kid
the
out of the
great motivator.
shell.
They're more motivating than they know.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Yeah.
So let's kind of go through your journey. So you go to college, you come out of this shell, you start getting into clubs, leading. At what point was it that you knew you wanted to become a chiropractor and do that? Like, was that you grew up and like that's what I want to do when I grow up, or
No. I was, undergrad. I was an econ major, international business minor. Was going to go to law school, so took the LSAT, ready to do that. I interviewed,
dang,
was interviewing at the same time. Got a few job offers for a couple big law firms out in DC, Washington DC. Also got a job offer from Westinghouse, which is a big government contractor in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where I was going to school. I went to school in Latrobe. At
hmm,
St. Vincent College. And they were going to pay for my MBA and law degree. And I was already in debt coming out of school. And I thought, well, this is a good gig. So I get a
yeah,
job there and realized immediately the government is completely backwards. I mean, I came from a very conservative economics background, and
huh,
the government was just doing, I mean, crazy things like, $400 hammer type stuff. So I didn't last long there because I was
jeez,
questioning everything we were doing. And my bosses were just like, shut up and do your
yeah,
work.
just do
you
what you're
know,
supposed to
just
do,
do it.
accept it.
And I was always a personal trainer for years and making some side hustle. I was involved in nutrition in college, selling supplements to all my buddies, and so I went back and got my science undergrad and went to chiropractic college, and that was a great experience, a great 10-year run. I
Yeah,
did have a pretty major hiccup towards the end of that run in 2007. It was probably the lowest point in my life.
huh,
I was looking around. I was making really good money. There wasn't one year that I grossed less than 350 grand as a solopreneur. I mean, I was
yeah, doing
living.
well
I mean, I had a lot of student loans. I was at 260 grand in student loans, and living in California is expensive, and
for
all that.
sure.
But still, high income earner by most stretches. And in
Definitely.
2007, I was looking around. I saw all my friends, getting rich off real estate, and some of them I knew were making $15 an hour, and I'm like, they're paper millionaires. So I go, dive headfirst into real estate in '07, buy a bunch of spec homes and stuff. Well, we know what happened
Uh-oh.
in
Yeah.
2008 and nine. So come 2009, total low point in my life. I got 50 grand a month coming in and 70 going out, and made the really challenging decision to file for, bankruptcy. And,
Dang.
here I am in my early 30s. I'm supposed to be in the prime of my life. And I find myself, filing bankruptcy. Everything's taken away, except for my student loan debt. So anyone thinking
I
about
know
that
that's
option,
crazy.
the student loans don't go away.
The only
They don't
thing,
go
and if
away.
you die, it doesn't go away either.
Oh, I didn't know that. Jeez,
Yeah. So
really?
if you die and you have student loans, it goes
to your.
it goes to your kids. And if you don't have kids, I mean, I don't know.
Is don't go in student loan debt. I tell my kids, like, stay out.
It's way too easy too. They go, oh, you want $100,000? Just sign these 3 things.
Yeah, sign all that line, low interest. You can pay it back later.
Yeah, like, you're 18 years old. Here you go.
Yeah, here's your credit cards and here's your student loan docs.
First,
but
is
hey,
like
the bottom line is,
bottom
line is we're adults, even though we're young adults, and
right.
The fundamental question that I ask myself anytime I'm hitting a glass ceiling in any point in my life is, am I a victim? And anytime you're hitting a glass ceiling, I guarantee you, if you peel back the layers, the answer is yes. So everything in life is decisions. And I made the wrong decisions, which created an outcome I wasn't happy with. So that's like a major turning point. It's like, okay, it's not cause and effect. Question. It's cause plus our reaction equals effect. And, 100%. And there was the way I was operating in the world was creating an effect that left me in bankruptcy. And so taking full accountability for that, realizing that, and really changing my MO, getting out of scarcity mode, starting a morning routine for the first time, which was a huge pivot point in my life to start my daily trajectory off on the right path.
Yeah. So let's say we jump back for a sec. So you touched on it that you went to work for the government. You're doing that. However long it is into this, pretty quickly, you're like, yeah, this isn't my thing. At that point, were you already in pursuit of becoming a chiropractor, or it was sort of like, all right, I'm not going to do, like, when did it go from I'm going to be a lawyer to, I'm a personal trainer. So was it just organically, I might as well go do chiro, or did you like meet a chiropractor?
Oh yeah, no. My father was a chiropractor for 30 years, so I grew up in it. He became a chiropractor because of me. I had an injury when I was just a little teeny kid, and my babysitter dropped me, and I was lethargic. I wasn't eating. I had all these issues. They took me to the ER. They couldn't figure out what was wrong, and some neighbors said, hey, you should have a chiropractor, check him out. And I guess they adjusted my upper neck, and they said my color came back instantly. Like it was like one and done miracle adjustment. And it was like, my atlas was jacked up. And so that's when my dad went to school. So I had grown up in that. I didn't even know people took aspirin for headaches until I was in college. Literally, like, we grew up totally natural, everything. Like,
you would just like
garlic and olive oil in the ear. Well, I wouldn't do it myself, but I'd have some.
Your dad,
have a
or someone else.
My dad, and and then a lot of buddies, obviously, going through school. So I had that background and that experience, and was always involved. Like I said, health, nutrition. When I was at Westinghouse, what I realized after I got hired was, in order for them to actually cover my MBA law degree, it was a 6-year commitment.
From you.
After 1 year, to work there, or else I had to pay it back. And after 1 year, I was like, no, this is not.
Yeah, no
happen.
deal.
No,
not for me.
Yeah,
that's good. And I think it's good too, just to like listen to, like, a big thing I'm a fan of when you really want to like create the life that you want. Like, you got to listen to that gut. You got to listen to that pull where it's like, this is not for me. And I think it kind of is an interesting segue. It's like, you were in Santa Cruz, one of the top chiropractors. You're doing this for 10 years, making great money.
I would say top, not one of the top, the top.
The top.
So I was the best.
You were the best.
Totally.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't want to sound cocky. I just was.
Yeah.
I just all the highest end athletes, from every major professional sport, came in to see me. I was referrals only. I didn't do any advertising.
What's one thing you learned working that closely with that high of performers? Because you'd have conversations
the human
with
versions of Ferraris. Premium gas. That's why I got into the beverage industry, because these guys were coming in drinking energy drinks and sports, quote unquote, sports drinks. And I'm going, dude, you're a Ferrari. Yeah. Why are you putting that crap in your body? And they're like, well, look, I drink a lot of water, but what else would you have me drink? Everything's boring. So I'm giving them like at-home sports drink concoction of like Himalayan salt and some mineral water with a little bit of honey in there, and like, here, try this instead. And I mean, it was really out of ignorance and passion that, okay, hey, there's this gap in the marketplace, so let's go create this beverage company. And the gap was the cool, sexy hip factor of the energy drinks, but nobody's drinking them for health benefits, right? They're drinking them because they work, they jack you up. Then you had the emerging functional benefits of like kombucha and coconut water just hitting the scene, but those were very hippy dippy, very acquired, polarizing flavor profile. So nobody was like meeting people in the middle. The cool, sexy hip factor, the energy drinks, the clean health functionality, of these new emerging drinks, and putting them together. And that's what we did.
Yeah. So when was the moment of, and I know you talk about, you have this 10-year cycle, but when was the moment where you were like, I'm doing well. I'm doing phenomenal. I'm the best out here.
Yep.
But I'm gonna leave and go do something different.
I'm such a dumbass. It's like, I can't believe I did that. Yeah. You eventually you all have to burn the ships at the shore and push the chips all in. I mean, you can't serve two masters. That being said, make sure when you burn the ships that your other gig is got some traction and proof of concept, because we weren't there yet, but we did it anyway. My business partner and I, he was a certified financial planner. He sold his practice as well.
So what was the initial inception when you like called him, or he called you on the phone and he was like, hey, I've been thinking about this thing?
Yeah, we had a few ideas we were throwing around, and it was really at a festival. We're both big burners. We go to Burning Man, and we were at another festival over 4th of July weekend, and I'm handing out 5-HTP and milk thistle and B vitamins and stuff.
This is like, and for your chiropractor clients, you're now the chiropractor client at the party.
Exactly. And I had this concept of like, packaging these things all together and calling them party pills, instead of having to go buy full bottles of each of these that are going to expire, because you're only going to maybe a few festivals a year. And so, he really liked that idea as well. And so we both started jiving on this whole party pills concept. And then we thought, I'll date myself a little bit here, but there was a thing back in the day called No-Dos before Red Bull. It was these little pills you took in college, and it was basically like caffeine and I think ephedra or something. Not good for you. You'd probably have a heart attack on them. I think they're illegal now, but you'd take them and they keep you totally awake to study. And then Red Bull came along, and those things, you can't even find them now because people started drinking energy drinks instead. Well, so we thought, well, if these kind of supplements in pill form were the way to go, then No-Dos would still be around, Red Bull wouldn't. So we said, well, how can we put these in a beverage? That's how Party Aid was born. And then we said, well, if we're doing Party Aid, I mean, we met in a CrossFit gym. We've been CrossFitting since 2007. What about Fit Aid for CrossFit? And we got we like to golf a couple times a month. What about Golf Raid? And we just started registering on Orion's birthday. We registered 80 domain names in one night. We even got boneraid.com for $12. So we thought all the good domains were already taken. It was definitely mistaken.
That's wild. And so like, what was going through your head then? Because I could only imagine, you have, and where was this in relation to like bankruptcy and having all these houses? Was this before that, after that, at the same time?
Yeah. So I went bankrupt in December of 2009. Right around that time is when I met my business partner, Orion, and we launched LIFEAID in 2011.
Okay. So then what's the psyche, if we could tap into your mind, of I'm 200 plus in student loan debt, 260 in student loan debt, Jesus, literally insane. So I'm $250,000 plus in student loan debt, declared bankruptcy. I got this practice that's
no credit,
crushing it. Yeah, no credit. Yeah, practice is dominating.
Practice is still doing well, thank God. I didn't lose that.
And so, like, what's the psyche as you leave? Was it stressful to know you're leaving and you have all of this like debt that you got to pay back? Like,
it gets even better because I had rebounded. I was able to save a little bit of money, but not much. So, and I had a little bit of gold and silver and some watches. So I kind of sold everything. And we started LifeAid with $30,000 each. Well, once I sell the practice, I sell it kind of hastily. It wasn't the right person. He didn't have the right charisma. He didn't have the skill set. I mean, the bar was set very high. And I leave, and I'm literally, because LifeAid can't afford to pay us. We're not even making any money at the time. So I'm not taking any income. I put all my savings to start the business. And so where I'm going to live off of the payments to the guy that I sold it with. Well, he completely tanks the entire thing in like 6, 7, 8 months or something, and just stops paying me. So now I've got zero income, zero savings. I'm living in a 400 square foot RV because that's what we moved in when we bought this raw land, and we were going to build our dream house the next year off of all the money I made from building these spec houses. Well, that didn't work out. So we're still living in an RV with 2 kids, 400 square feet. Now I got no money. So we're eating mac and cheese and tuna every night. Yeah, it was dark. It was super, super dark times.
And how do you keep your psyche in that moment?
As they say.
How do you keep your psyche in that? Like, how do you psych yourself up in that moment and go, I'm calling someone today. I'm selling them FitAid. Like I'm growing this business. And meanwhile, then I'm going back home, have mac and cheese and tuna with the kids. Like, how did you get yourself in the right state that you needed to be to develop the business while meanwhile there was a lot of shit going on in your life?
I'd say 2 things. One, my wife, Rama, being completely supportive through the entire thing. Like, I can't even imagine people trying to make it with when, or be an entrepreneur if your significant other at home is not supportive. Cause we already dragged her through a BK. I can't believe if I'm coming home and she's like, you dumb piece of shit, you did this. And you already went through this and now you're trying to do this. And we're still living in this stinking RV. And you told me it was only going to be 1 year and it's been 5. Like, so the support was always there, unwavered. Wow. And then the second part is just desperation, dude. I mean, when you are desperate, you will do whatever it takes to win. Like, I was not going to be a failure for the second time in the matter of a few years. Like, I was 100%, I 100% was believed in the dream that we have something. We just got to figure it out. And, I was so desperate that I worked 24/7. It's all I thought about. It's all I did. And I wouldn't recommend that either. I had 2 young kids at the time that, they were fatherless for a while because all I did was eat, sleep, drink, 24/7 was think about how to make this business a success.
Yeah. Wild. But now as I was reading, they are your biggest fans.
They are.
So,
I mean, my
so
son,
it turned around. Now
ration his FitAid consumption.
But they can't work. They're too young to work for the company, right? As of now?
No, my daughter interns for us. She actually is intern for the last 2 summers and just got a job at Starbucks and still does some intern work and babysitting. And my son, we stick him in the warehouse anytime we have promos. He's out there putting boxes together and packing. And
that's so cool. Yeah. What would be like, if there was, I guess, like an entrepreneur, obviously you've continued to crush it, whether it's chiropractic business, you were the best. FitAid, you guys are the best. It's like, what is the silver lining that you've continuously applied that, if my belief would be, if I put you into something else, you're going to become the best. That's just the pattern you have. It's just what's the silver lining that creates that?
Well, I think you nailed it. And you said, if I believe this, so whatever our belief system is, our beliefs dictate our thoughts, our words, our actions, and our actions over time give us a result, and that result reinforces a belief system. It's a cycle, and it's constantly moving either up and to the right or down and to the left. So, being very conscious of the things that I need to say and do to create a different result or a better result that will then reinforce a belief system to keep me going up and to the right. I mean, that's been, it comes back to literally everything is a decision. Like, you want to lose weight, you get your ass up at 5 a.m., you follow a strict diet, you go for your walk, you don't skip a workout, and you stick to that for 2-3 months, you will lose weight. I don't give a shit if you got bad genetics or you got every excuse under the sun.
Yeah.
You act differently, right? There's only two ways you can break that cycle. You can't just change your beliefs. You can't just change the thoughts going on in your head, but you can change the words coming out of your mouth, and you can change the actions that you take. And that's it. It's just reverse engineering. Why is this not working? And I realized, my belief system was creating bad, negative thoughts. It was creating scarcity verbiage coming out of my mouth, and around and around it was going. So just breaking the cycle.
So how did you shift it? Like, let's say there's someone here and they're going, holy crap, beliefs, the core, I need to shift it. How did you go about that? Was it doing positive affirmations? Was it writing things down? Was it like, what are some of the practices you put in your life and maybe even still practice that allows you to continuously reinforce and build a belief system that makes you
and I've tried everything. I mean, you name it, I've tried it.
Good.
I've spent money on it. I mean, if you tallied up all the cash I spent on all this shit, it's been at least a couple $100,000, at least, probably more.
Yeah.
That being said, I take everything that feels that works for me and integrate it. So the biggest change is morning routine. Getting up early, I follow the same morning routine. I fill out the 5-minute journal, 3 things I'm grateful for, 3 things that'll help make today great, 1 self-affirmation. I do 10 minutes of yoga. I do like a full keto coffee so I can skip breakfast and fast through lunch. I do Wim Hof breathing. I do a cold plunge in the shower. I do a walk down to the beach. I do more Wim Hof breathing. I do grounding with either my hands or feet in the sand. I do, square breathing. I say today is a fabulous day filled with opportunity and potential every morning. Like, I do a short prayer in the car. Like, literally, it's the same regimen over and over. Why? Because that's what works for me. Yeah. And it sets my daily trajectory off in a certain way that I know I'm giving myself the best opportunities to succeed. And if I succeed on that day, then those days equal weeks, months, years. And after 10 years, I'll go from being bankrupt to being back on top of my game in a really big way in a 10-year period. It's not that long. It's not that long. They go by quick. Right.
So one, I'm curious, how long does that take you roughly?
The whole thing?
Yeah. Hour and a half?
No, not even that long. Let's say, my commute right now is 15 minutes. My house all burned down, so I've been a little nomadic, but my current commute is 15 minutes. So, but by the time I wake up to the time I'm leaving the house is about 40 minutes all in with the shower and everything. And then, I'm about 15 minutes. Once I get right near work, I do a little walk and then do some stuff down on the beach and then come back in.
Gotcha.
And then I'm doing, the prayer in the car.
Okay. So let's say I was like, we're robbing you of all your morning techniques. You're robbing you all of your morning routine, except 2 things you can do from now on. What would the 2 things that you go, those are the 2?
I'd say the breathing into meditation, because it's the only way I found myself able to kind of meditate, is to do some of that deep breathing, and it puts me in kind of a meditative state. And
the Wim Hof breathing.
Yeah. And that's been really positive for me, just because I'm just such a, like go type A. Like, I can't, I think I'm going to go on vacation, sit on the beach. I'll literally be on the beach in like 2 minutes later, I'm like up, like, okay, let's play Frisbee or let's do something. I can't lay down, So that has forced me to just kind of be ultra present and relax my shoulders and be in tune with just gratitude. This morning I'm down on the beach and I just feel, completely overwhelmed with gratitude by just all the blessings that I have in my life, my family, my friends, my network is just incredible. The game that I get to play. This game is a fun game. The entrepreneurial game, there's nothing like it, there's nothing like it.
Heck yeah. So you're big in personal development. I'm curious, what would you say is like one good book you'd recommend to someone? Like, what's one of your favorite books?
Oh, man. Okay. I'm reading right now, and I'm about a third of the way through it, The Courage to Be Disliked
I've heard of that
by
book.
Kashimi, and it's really good, really
Huh.
good. And it's actually a philosophy that I've adopted through this last 10 years, that I wasn't even aware of. There's an actual, philosophy out there. That
Right.
one's great. 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson. That's also a must read. That's a great book. He is as controversial as people make him out to be. He's the greatest thinker of our modern time, I would say.
Heck yeah.
And then just on the business side of things, Influence by Cialdini is a must read if you haven't read that one.
Heck yeah. All right. I'm getting all of them. Now, what is one piece of advice you give your kids as they figure out their life? Like, from my understanding, your kids are kind of 15, 17,
Yep,
right around there.
exactly. Yeah.
So like, as they're kind of going in now to this phase of like kind of figuring out their life, like what's a piece of advice you've reinforced growing up or something you constantly reinforce to them that will help them like figure out what they want to do with their life?
I'm very conscious of the word. Now I'm conscious now. I wish if I could turn back time, I would have known this earlier and been more conscious when it was more impressionable, which is between 0 and 7. Don't screw that period up. It's so important
Yeah.
in their development. But I'm very conscious now of not going into scarcity mode with them and really, preaching abundance, like for a Tony Robbins type of quote, life is happening for you and through you, not to you. You are not a passive passenger on this journey. You are not a victim, right? Everything in life is a choice. Bad shit happens all the time. That's okay. The obstacle is the way, don't shy away from that. Know that without the obstacle, there is no growth. Like when everything's status quo, like you don't change your MO, you don't change anything. And when you don't change anything, you don't have any growth. So embrace the obstacles, realize that they're there for a reason. We may not know what that reason is in the short term, but trust me, they're always there for a reason.
Heck yeah. Love it. And so then just a few more questions. You go in, as you've said, 10-year cycles. So you're doing chiropractor for 10 years. Now FitAid, if my estimates are correct, is about 10 years.
Yeah.
So what's the next 10 years?
Well, I've still got, a few years of work here left. So I'm stretching that 10-year cycle a little bit for myself.
Got to stretch yourself. It's good.
But this is an exciting time because it's like heavy up leveling of myself and the team and everything. And who knows what that is, maybe we're IPOing in a couple of years, but we're aligning things to be a major player in this industry. Yeah. But after this, I really enjoy working with young entrepreneurs. I serve as on an advisory level on several companies now. Like I love that stage of the game. I love seeing a version of my younger self when I'm talking to young guys getting going, and that's where I can really provide a lot of value to, and just really, because to be successful as an entrepreneur, you have to have 100 things perfectly lined up, and one of them out of alignment can literally sink the ship. And too often, you've got all these things, all the check boxes checked, but you're inaccurately thinking about something, and that inaccurate thinking is what can sink the ship. So having eyes that have kind of been there and go, hey, I really checked this assumption, because see, that's what's gonna ruin this idea of yours.
Gotcha. Love it. And I think what you're doing with FitAid, worth breaking the 10-year rule, right? You guys are crushing it, so definitely worth breaking the 10-year rule.
We're getting there. We still got a long way to go, but we're getting there. Every day we're getting people off the garbage sodas and energy drinks and onto cleaner products, and more people are reading labels, thank God, before they consume something. And those are the people we want. We got a lot of, we're in hospitals now being sold as they kick out soda machines. They're bringing us in. We got a lot of nutritionists and docs and chiros and, people in the know when it comes to what they're putting in. Athletes, professional athletes, what they put in their body is a direct reflection in how you show up in the world.
Heck yeah, man. So, Aaron, if people want to find more info on you, what you're up to, see what you're doing in the world, where's the best place for them to find you and see what you're up to?
Always my name, Aaron Hinde, Hinde. Most active on Instagram or LinkedIn, or you could always check out our website to lifeaidbevco.com or at FitAid on Instagram.
Perfect. And we'll put all that in the show notes so everybody has it. And one last question I have for you. We ask this to every guest because we're all about helping people find direction, but doing it through action. Is like, what is one thing you could give as a piece of advice for someone to do listening to this that they could do in the next 24 to 48 hours to start finding direction in their life?
If you find that you're stuck in the cycle of negative head talk, again, beliefs, thoughts, words, actions, results. If you're in negative head talk, the only way that I've personally found to break the cycle, and for me, is to go outside in nature and be hyper present, where you're looking at how the wind is affecting the leaves and the birds flying around and how the sun is reflecting off. And in hyper presence, I find that you have appreciation, and appreciation and the little devil on our shoulders cannot coexist.
Love that. Heck yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Well, Aaron, again, man, thank you so much for your time. I massively appreciate it. A wealth of knowledge. We'll make sure we get everybody on the FitAid products, and absolutely appreciate you for taking your time out today, man.
All right, brother. Appreciate it. Thanks.